Here's the bootleg Yamaguchi Revoltech Iron Spider, both the red gold version and the black gold version. I always get the bootleg figures with the packaging because I want to compare it with the original. However, firstly, I don't have the original black gold version. I only have the red gold one. And that for these bootleg Iron Spider figures, both of them come in the black gold version packaging. I thought mine might be a mistake or something, but looking at the reviews, it is a consistent thing that the red gold version is packed into the black gold box. And of course, most of the sellers in Aliexpress, if you were to order a figure in packaging, they will just wrap it in one layer of bubble wrap, so there's definitely dents and stuff at the box. But thankfully, only this one is kind of like squashed a bit, but the other one is quite okay. First up, the obvious differences in the packaging. As with most bootleg figures, the printing isn't as sharp as the original. Difficult to see in the video, but if you have the packaging in hand, you can see it. At the front, the figure is missing the word Marvel. At the side, same thing, missing the word Marvel and the words at the top and the bottom. Same goes on the other side, missing the words at the top and bottom black panel. At the back, they totally black out all this information here. And same thing at the bottom, all the infos are gone. Here's the top. And here's my original red gold Iron Spider. So it's pretty much easy to spot the bootleg packaging. You can look out for the missing Marvel words and also the missing information at the back and at the bottom of the boxes. Now I'm going to take out the bootleg red gold version first. Here's the clamshell out of the box. The bootleg doesn't have this instruction manual. Only the original has it. And also that the bootleg does not have this inner cardboard artwork. There. This is on the inner side of the tray. So yeah, let's get every single piece out to compare. They really taped up the accessories securely at the back. Here are the accessories for the bootleg and for the original. For the original, the figure stand is in this sort of plastic packaging. One piece but then separated into three parts for the base, the figure stand, and also all these other small parts. But for the bootleg, they just packed everything into one single plastic and taped it up. And you only have two of these grey color packs extra compared to the original, whereby you have like quite a few, 6 of them. Here's the bootleg figure. It does have this sheet of plastic as well. And also on this part for the accessories. Wow, the plastic is actually kind of like a sticker that sticks to the clamshell. That's good so that the accessories doesn't drop off. And here's the original. Same thing, it does have this plastic around the figure, which I've put back since opening it. And the accessories isn't covered in any sort of plastic on this in tray, unlike the bootleg. Here's the bootleg figure right out of the tray, and it's in this position. Everything is kind of like stuck, so I'm just going to try to move it around, move all the joints around, and just really hope it doesn't break or anything. Yeah, this one is okay. That's the original. Right, mid torso joint seems fine. The head is kind of quite stiff. Oops. Neck seems okay. The arms, okay. Elbow joint, wrist, arms, the other elbow joint. Now for the legs, right, feels good. There is the clicking sound. Alright, I think that most of it is okay. Can't really bend the feet though. The toe hinge joint, there it is. Okay. And the other knee. Alright, I think everything is quite in order. Yep, this one as well. And the other one kind of stuck. Alright. Okay, it's moving. Alright, so I think all the joints are actually okay. Yeah, there isn't any loose joints or anything so far. Pretty much checks out. Now, for the appearance of the figure, at a glance, it really does look similar, but when you have the figure side by side like this, you can really see the difference between them. First off, overall, the red is much more glossier and the gold is also shiny compared to the bootleg. The red is kind of like matte and the gold doesn't shine as much as the original. And right from the top, for the head sculpt, the eyes is sculpted better on the original. It bulges out more compared to the bootleg. Upon closer look, for mine, you can see the gold paintwork isn't painted that well on the eyes and it isn't like symmetrical. This one looks a bit smaller. And there's also kind of like a line that goes down the center of the head. It's as if it's two pieces, left and right piece, that joins up to form the head. It's not so obvious though, only can be seen when it's really up close. For the original, the eyes are definitely better sculpted, better painted, and also there isn't that line at the center of the head. The sculpt and the paintwork of the spider logo on the torso of the original is definitely better. Here's a closer look at the bootleg. Not that bad, but not that great either. The original is definitely way better. Don't know whether it's a consistent thing, but for my bootleg, there is a bigger gap here at the side of the torso compared to the original, whereby it is quite close together. And also the gap where the peg joins up at the forearm is bigger compared to the original, which isn't as big. Here's the bootleg, and here's the original. One thing about the torso is that there's actually a big gap over here that can't be seen from a frontal view, but from the bottom, look at the amount of space at the torso. For the original, it's really close together. Not too much of a big deal because from the front you can't really see that. At the wrist, the bootleg has the peg in red, the original has it in gold. I don't know why they didn't make this in gold. And right down to the feet, same thing for the ankle pegs. The bootleg has the ankle pegs in red, original is in gold. And I think the only thing that the bootleg one up the original is that it does not have a visible pin at the toe hinge joint. The original one has a visible pin, which can quite clearly be seen. The bootleg doesn't have those pins. Here's the back view. The bootleg does have the word Marvel at the top of the butt crack. And again, definitely better sculpt and paintwork on the original than on the bootleg. And I just realized that this kind of looks like an alien being tortured or something. So yeah, those are the differences between the bootleg and the original. And one last thing I want to add is that all these joints on the bootleg is actually kind of like slightly brighter compared to the ones on the original. Not that obvious, but it does kind of look slightly orangey compared to the red on the original. Moving on to the accessories. Here's the bootleg Waldo and the original Waldo. The gold on the original Waldo is shinier compared to the bootleg, and on these sculpted parts, the shade of gold is slightly different, kind of slightly darker. The gold on the sculpted part of the bootleg also has a different shade of gold, but overall, the gold doesn't shine as much as the original. Here are the two sharp ends side by side, and you can really see the difference. In the shine, the original shines much better, and also the two edges are much sharper compared to the bootleg. One difference about the bootleg is that the hole has a hexagon shape compared to the original, which has a circular shape. Same goes for the other hole. And for this piece at the other end, all of the four bootleg Waldos have the piece the other way around compared to the original. You can see from the way that this pointed end is pointing upwards on the original, but on the bootleg it is pointing downwards. Not an issue though, because you can just switch it around on the bootleg. So yeah, overall in terms of the colors, the original is definitely way better, having the gold shinier. The bootleg does have a slightly cheap feel to it if you were to take a closer look. Now for the joints itself, for the original, each of the joint is able to rotate sideways and also move up and down. It does kind of like easily come off, but you can just simply slot it back in. All of them can rotate and move up and down. not an issue at all, and it feels very solid. And the joints is where there are issues for the bootleg Waldos. It is able to move up and down, just like the original, but it is really, really difficult to rotate each of the parts. There, I'm not rotating it. You can see the joints about to come off as I rotate it. So if I were to force the turn, instead of turning, this joint will actually get separated. And the thing is that it is easy to actually just remove the parts there. Or if I want to take out from the other end, I'll just bend it this way and you can take it out. But the problem is that it is difficult to rotate when the joint is inside the Waldo. See, once I put it in, really difficult to rotate it around. Unlike the original, whereby it is super easy. So in order to put them in a position that you want, you need to like literally take it out and then slot it back in. Yeah, I really don't know why it works that way, but maybe it's because there are grooves at the pegs. Look at that, you can see those 3 grooves. I don't know whether it is because of that or any other thing. There you can see that the grooves are all around. Or maybe it is just kind of tight. Oh, or maybe it's because of the hexagon shape of the hole at each of the Waldo. On the original, the pegs are rounded and does not have any scoop on it. And also, the hole is circular, not hexagon in shape. That's probably the reason the bootleg have difficulty rotating. And in terms of the overall feel of the bootleg Waldo, it feels kind of flimsy, and I really don't know whether it can take the weight of the Spidey figure. Here are the figures with the Waldos on. It only took me a few seconds to fix up each of the Waldos on the original, but on the bootleg, it's really difficult to put in the Waldo at the back of the figure. I tried my best to attach it, but look at the gap at each of the peg. It's really, really difficult to stuff it in. And it's really difficult to pose the Waldos as well. Because like I mentioned earlier, the joints are kind of stiff on most of them. And yeah, you can see how awkward this is compared to the original, which looks so much better. And I was afraid that I might break the figure or the Waldos while I'm trying to attach it, but thankfully it didn't break. Here's the original, all the joints connected firmly. Here's the original Revoltech Iron Spider standing on the Waldos, and here's the bootleg. I'm trying to make it do the same pose, but it's really difficult because the way it is attached at the back is kind of flimsy, as I've mentioned earlier, because it doesn't go in fully. And look at that. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's not so solid. So I'm not sure whether it would be able to hold the figure. Maybe it can if I can get the pegs to really rotate for each and every single one of the joints on the Waldos. But as of now, it's really difficult and I can't make it do the same pose as how it's done on the original. I give up, man. So just to conclude, the original Waldos are really sturdy and the bootleg ones are really kind of flimsy. I guess you can still pose them in a dynamic pose, but to make the Waldos support the figure in this pose, a bit difficult, I guess. Definitely original for the win. And for the alternate hands, the red and gold color on them is just like the figure itself, a bit more pale and less shine on the bootleg compared to the original, which is shiny and glossy. The sculpt of the hands on the bootleg is decent, I guess. Original definitely looks better, but the bootleg one doesn't look too bad either. Here's the webbing, nothing much to say about them. They look quite similar, except that for the bootleg, it is slightly shorter. Just slightly shorter compared to the original. For this piece of joint, again on the bootleg, the hole is kind of hexagon in shape. But for the original, it is circular. And lastly, here's the magnetic piece. On the original, it is squarish. I don't know why the bootleg one has it in a circle. I don't know whether this follows the black gold version or what. But yeah, this is the original, whereby this peg over here slots in into the back of the figure. Then you can stick it to any metallic surface. But for this bootleg magnetic piece, there is a hole instead of the peg, so I'm not sure how this is supposed to work. Maybe put a connecting peg there or something, I'm not sure. And here's the black gold Iron Spider, aka Aaron Davis. The black on the figure is actually matte black, not glossy or shiny at all. I think on the original, it is shiny, just like the original red gold Iron Spider. I feel that the gold paintwork is painted better on the spider logo on this black gold version compared to the red gold version. You can see the same gap at this side of the torso, just like the red gold version as well, and also the gap at the forearm. I guess this one is less visible because it is all black. Just like the red gold version, the black gold version also has that big gap at the torso. Here's a closer look at the torso and the eyes. You can see a slight missed gold paintwork at the eyes, just like on the red gold version. But the paintwork on the Spidey logo, however, looks really good. Here's the back of the figure, exactly the same with this alien face. And just like the red gold version, this one doesn't have the wrist peg in gold to match the color on the gauntlet. It is black instead. I think on the original, it is gold in color to match the gauntlet. There. And same goes for the pegs at the ankle. It is black instead of gold. Let's do a quick test of the joints. That it is all okay. Neck is okay. Head looks up and down. Torso, alright. Waist joint, okay, it is moving. Arms, elbow, wrist, the other arm, the other elbow. Oh, it looks a bit okay, can. The wrist, and for the thigh joint, feels okay. Able to rotate. The other side, able to rotate as well. Knee joints, fine. Toe hinge and the ankle joints. Right, these are all okay. Alright, I think the joints checks out and it is all okay. No loose joints. Like the red gold version, it is just as hard trying to fix the Waldo on the figure. I really had to keep on rotating to get this one all the way in. Just now I didn't manage to do it with the red gold version. So what I did was I just had to keep on rotating, just keep on turning and turning and turning until the whole pack is in. And it's easier to do when I'm fixing the first one. Now that the first one is in, it kind of blocks the way. So yeah, I'm just gonna try to put this in. So here's the two bootleg figures. And here's the original red gold Iron Spider. Overall, the figure itself is really not bad at all. The joints are all okay on the bootleg, quite tight, and the figure feels quite solid. The plastic doesn't feel cheap or feels like it's about to break or anything. But like I mentioned earlier, the Waldos does feel a bit flimsy. I did not manage to get the Waldos to get into this position, holding the figure. And in terms of posing the Waldos, it is also difficult because as I've shared, it is difficult to rotate each of the joints sideways. You literally need to take it out, put it in the position that you want it to be, and then connect them back in order to get the pose that you want on the Waldos. The overall colors on the original is definitely better, having the shinier red and also shiny gold. But the matte red and the matte black paintwork isn't bad. The gold paintwork on the black gold version is better than the one on the red gold. At least it is for mine. Overall, it is a solid bootleg figure, and for the price, you really can't complain much about the Waldos. If you have any questions, do type it in the comments. And lastly, does the bootleg Waldos fit the Marvel Legends Iron Spider? Check out this video over here.